Okay, little quick disclaimer to this video. This video was one filmed 2 months ago. It was filmed in December, and two, it was also filmed in my parents' car before it got totaled. Fun. So this video is old, and it's supposed to be kind of like a part two to the video, the podcast episode I made about my rant about men, and I said how I was gonna make a separate episode about my interactions with men because I had a lot of funny stories. So that was this episode, but then I filmed it. And I never got the chance to edit it because I just got really busy with school and with work and with life. And so I ended up never uploading it. But then I thought, oh, Valentine's Day is coming up. Why don't I just talk about my weird interactions with men during Valentine's Day, a holiday that I never get to celebrate because I'm always single. Well, I do celebrate it, but like with like friends or like my parents, never a significant other because somehow I'm always single every year. I don't know how. I mean, I kind of do, but like I'm always end up being. I'm gonna stop talking. So I thought, why not just talk about my interactions, and then also just like I don't know, like it's supposed to be on Valentine's Day. It is Today is the 15th. No, today's the 16th actually. I was supposed to post this video 2 days ago, and then I had to work on that day, and I never got to edit it before I went to work, so it just never got uploaded. And then I flopped the bag, and I'm like behind on editing my podcast episodes. Like I have like another one that I'm supposed to upload this week. I'm trying. So this is my late Valentine's Day themed episode. Then we'll go back to Black History Month themed episodes. But yeah, this is my funny. I can't speak. My funny podcast episode about my weird interactions with men, but just funny ones and also like annoying ones I've had, and also just to show. Here's my Instagram. I was gonna do this bit. Well, I'm doing the bit right now where I just have like pictures of people up on the screen that is like, hey, if you're on the screen and you like what not me shooting my shot through a video. I'm a little embarrassed. It's okay. Um, the Instagram's open if you're interested. Anyway, I'm gonna go into this video. Hope you guys enjoy this podcast episode. Sorry for it being late. And yeah, I'm working on editing this another episode, and I had to film and edit another episode after that. I'm behind on episodes. I am. I really realize that. But when you're a full time student with a job and with like four other responsibilities that are basically jobs, you get behind on stuff every now and then. Okay, so just bear with me. But yeah, that's it for the disclaimer. Hope you guys enjoy this episode, and yeah, enjoy. Okay. Oh, it's so cold. You want to know the weather? It is 36 degrees in the car with the heat on, and it is a whopping 32 degrees outside. Happy December. Okay, I'm going to drive now. I can drive now. Okay. Alright. I think I'm getting better at filming in public. I said that in the last episode, and then I was at a stoplight and I panicked because people could see me. But you know what? Today I set up the phone with no problems. Like I was setting it up. I would say on the angst meter, I would say like a solid 4. And usually I'm like a 6 to a 10 in like 2 seconds, depending on like if there's people around. But to be honest, there wasn't anyone around me, so I was like okay with it. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just set up and just do me. And then people could look at me. It's okay. Like if people look at me, it doesn't mean they're judging. They could just be wanting to know what's going on. You know? Like I always assume people are judging me because, that's how I live my life. I live off of assumptions of people judging me. That's not the point of this video. I just wanted to make, give a little, like before I go into like the episode, I gotta like give a few like 5 minutes stream of consciousness, this thought about my concept of life and how I think. Because I feel like a lot of people don't know what I'm thinking because I'm just a blank void. That sounded... I don't know what I'm talking about at this point. Okay, anyway, let's move on to the topic of this episode. Hi, welcome back to my podcast, randomchatswana. I'm your host, Ananda Cash, and I do believe that's my intro. I was thinking about that a few days ago because every past 2 podcasts, because it's been like just a video that I'm just like, I'm going to just make a podcast. And I've been filming them, and I'm like, I don't know my intro. But I think that is my intro. I just haven't done it in so long that I forgot. But I think that is my intro. So I'm going to go with it. So, hi guys, welcome back. So, in today's episode, we are going to be talking about, I know if you guys listened to my last podcast, I did talk about how it was about my rant about men. And I did start off with wanting to talk about like why I think the phrase, all men are trash, is problematic. And reality, it's ended up being a rant about men and my problems with men, with the experiences that I've had with certain men. Not all men, just most interactions that I've had that were annoying were from men. Now, can the men say the same thing about women? Sure, of course. They have the right to express their opinions or just their personal experiences with women. But here's the thing, the difference between when women do it because men have a history of degrading us. Men do it because they have a history of degrading us. Like, it's almost like it's their historical nature to belittle women because they feel like in order to make themselves feel better, they have to belittle anyone that's competition, and that's women. Not all, most. But anyway, so that was like the whole podcast for last week. And then I mentioned how in that podcast the heater is very loud. I'm so sorry. I feel like I was like yelling, like, so you can hear me. It's okay. That's a little better. I was saying that in the last episode, I was saying how I've had a bunch of like I was basically giving my fair share of like interactions with like men, and how from like middle school to like now of how like I had to check men sometimes, because every time when I had to check someone, it was always a man. Well, not always, but it was mostly 9 times out of 10 it was a man. And then on top of that, I was just giving my experiences based off of what I had to do, how I had to check them, blah blah blah. So that was my podcast. And then I did mention how I could go into a whole separate podcast episode about my just like weird interactions with men in general, just because of how socially awkward I was. Let's be real. How socially awkward I was in college, I would say. And like high school and college, I was literally like towards the end of college, okay, what are you doing? There was a person trying to cross the street when they didn't have the light. Like, no. Anyway, so what was I saying? How socially awkward person. How I'm a socially awkward person. There's a car trying to turn. It's a two-way street, and there was a car trying to basically make a U-turn, and it was blocking my path, and I couldn't go. So now I had to stop at the yellow light. Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh yes, I'm a socially awkward person. So whenever it was in high school and in college, I did not know how to talk to any boys or any men because I was scared, and I was like, the best way to emphasize how like frightened I was, every time people would see me in this action, whether it was anxiety with talking to boys or just talking in general, people would say I was a deer in headlights. And that is literally the best way to describe it, because literally I just freeze in place and I get frozen, and I feel like people just look at me and like, what happened? Like, you just choked up. Oh my gosh, this person just drove the car. I thought this little 12-year-old boy did not just look the car up. And anyway, I'm gonna see, here's the thing. The fact that kid looked at the car like that and looked at me like that, see, he's old enough to know what YouTubers are. So like, he's probably looking at the car. If he saw me filming, he's like, oh, she's one of those YouTubers. I gotta go. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I love how I said in the beginning, I think I'm getting better at filming in public. And then a little boy looks my car up and down. I'm like, he knows I'm a YouTuber. I have to leave. Girl, be freaking for real. Anyway, gosh, I get so sidetracked. Y'all, I just gotta, I can't even talk about why I get sidetracked because I didn't get diagnosed with this, so I can't speak about it yet. Anyway, if you know, you know. But no, go back to the topic. Oh, I thought the bus was gonna try to turn. I was like, please. See, this is why. See, before I even started this video, I was debating if I should film, because I was like, whenever I drive and film at the same time, like, I would be talking about something, and then because I obviously have to focus on the road so I don't get into an accident, something be happening, and I'm like, oh. Like, I have commentary mouth. I always have something to say. I can never shut up. Not because I feel like what I have to say is so important. It's just because whenever I speak something, I'm just like, oh my gosh, that just happened. Like, with anything. A TV show, a movie, life, my own life, whatever the case may be. But, like, if you don't want me to talk, I'll be quiet. Like, I'm quick at being, whoop. But when I'm myself, chatter. That's why I film on the camera. Hello, I need someone to talk to. That's not that bad. I'm gonna keep going. Gosh, I just see sometimes when I just speak, like just hearing how I talk, and like I'm not gonna get to that. Anyway, talking about whenever I go in public in high school and in college, I was always just like, I didn't know how to talk to people, especially men. Like the male species freaked me out. Like not even like, oh, I'm scared to talk to boys. No, I'm not talking about like scared. I'm talking about terror, like horror movie type beat. Like every man in my life is Freddy Krueger type beat. Like I'm trying to find a way to explain the horror I have of just men. And it's not because of society. It's not because of like men are scary because of what they do to us. It's not because of that. It's just me. It's a personal problem. So I want to talk about it because I think all my stories, now that I've looked back at them and I've understood why I was like that, I think it's funny now because, things that were like not traumatizing, but just like things that were scary in the past can now be funny in the future. Once you've overcome, or just once you simply are able to like notice what was the problem back then and then like able to like deal with it, I've acknowledged the problem. Like I can understand to a certain, well, actually no, I understand to a certain degree, kind of sort of why. But then if you ask me why, I'm not gonna give you an answer because I won't know in that moment. I won't know. Like, be honest, I won't know. And then I'll know at like 3 a.m. the next day, like if anything. Anyway, so I want to talk about my experiences because I think I've been sharing some of my stories with like my friends and family, and I think it's really funny. So I wanted to share some stories because I was like, why not? So I think I'm gonna just go into, I said weird interactions, but also I'm gonna just go into like all my interactions. I also did make a video like a year or two ago about all like my like relationships / like to all the boys that like I've talked to, like either whether we dated or we just talked, like all my interactions with those people, and I kind of gave details a little bit. It was like a 2-part video. I'll put it up. It's a podcast. I might not edit it to put it up on the screen, but I'll maybe put up cards to where you can see both the videos if you want to go in depth about like relationships. I'm not going to talk about that because I already made a video about it, so you guys can watch those videos if you want to hear about those. But I would talk about the relation, like things that like either it was just like something could have happened but it didn't, or it was just an annoying boy in my presence. So it was weird / I don't know. We're just gonna talk about all my interactions with men from in the beginning where I would like beat them up to then I was fearful of them. So we're gonna get into that. The first experience that I have with the first experience that I've had with I feel like I was yelling and I just quiet down. The first story I'm going to talk about is, this is my Pharaoh era where I would just beat up boys. And I'm not talking about the like, oh, I'm beating him up because I like him. No, if I like, yes, that did happen in like middle school where like we didn't know how to show our attraction to one another. So we just like would just beat each other. Like, cause like basically like play fighting was our only way of physical touch. So that's what people would do. But 8 times out of 10, if I was beating 99.9% time out of 10, if I was hitting a boy, it was because I didn't like them. It was because I was annoyed by them. So in 6, okay, cool. People are just crossing the street, and okay. Anyway, so what was I talking about? See, you see, what just happened right now? The light just turned green. And then there are 2 men, one on a bike, got in front of my car so I couldn't go. And then there was a man crossing the street when he did not have the light. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And the car next to me was able to go because they weren't in their way. They were in my way. You see what I mean? Now here's the thing. I'm not saying all men are bad. No, I'm not saying that. Like, because I'll be done with that. First of all, I'll be a hypocrite if I said that because I literally said in the past episode how we shouldn't be doing that. So I'm just saying, literally as I'm speaking about men, also, I'm going to get into all my interactions about men in general because I have also like recent stories about how men were violent and I'm like, girl, relax. Anyway, so the first interaction, I was in 6th grade and there was this boy that like basically, he basically was trying to, okay, I gotta be able to articulate my words. Not long story short, this is a podcast. I could be as long as I want. I'm not going to make him like a Scott joke. I'm not going to do that. Anyway, so in 6th grade, there was a boy that basically I was in gym class, and we were in gym, so, I'm a very active child, so I was playing in gym, and then he comes up to me. No, first he comes up to me, and he tells me that, basically he's going around, and then he comes up to me and he tells me that he likes me. And you know what my reaction was? I decided to slap him. Now, let me explain why I did that. Because before he came up to me to tell me he liked me, he told one of my friends that he liked them too. So instead of me thinking it's a possibility that he has multiple crushes, I'm just assuming that he's just friend hopping and he didn't actually like me. He was just pretending to like me so that way he could I don't know why. But I just assumed that he was lying and that he didn't actually like me. Or that because my friend rejected him, then he thought to come to me next. So that's why. So I felt disrespected and that's why I slapped him. So I slapped him in front of everybody, and I did not feel bad about it. And telling that story now, I think is hilarious because I remember telling my mom this story once or twice, and she was like, "Why were you so violent?" I'm like, "Girl, I don't know what to tell you. I don't have an answer to that question." I just felt disrespected, so I hit him. I slapped him. Did he hit me back? No. I wasn't, and it wasn't because I hit him because I was like, oh, I know he can't hit me because he's a boy. No, I wouldn't, to be honest, if he would have hit me, I wouldn't have cared. I would have been like, oh, you can't hit me because I'm a girl. No, I would have been like, all right, let's fight. I'm telling you, when I was a kid, my mindset was my hands are ready to eat for everyone. I was ready to fight anybody. So, I don't care if you're bigger than me, taller than me, a boy. I don't care. If you want not me saying you want the smoke. I'm going to move on. Regardless, I was a feral child. I was a very angered. Please, what's going on? Why is this kid walking so slow? I was a very angry child, and I did not. Oh my gosh, this kid! Please, you can't be crossing the street as if you're a snail. He walking the street as if he got all the day time in the world. Boy, go to school, please, and get there safe. Is there an ambulance? I literally can't move any other way, so this car's behind, so oh my gosh, please. Now I'm in an awkward position. Okay, anyway. Hope the person that they're saving lives. Okay, anyway. So what was I saying? Yeah, so I slapped him because I felt like he was being disrespectful to me. Moving on. Next story, I would say was in the seventh grade when I was in the 7th grade. And this is just a story just about just boy interactions. So in 7th grade, I was very, like I said, when I was in school, I was very athletic. I did sports all throughout from elementary school to high school. I could have joined the volleyball team in college if I would have tried out for it, but I punked out and I got scared, so I didn't do it. Anyway, so I was very athletic, and in 7th grade, I was in the track team. So in order for track, we had to practice a lot, and then part of the practice that we had to do, sometimes we had to go to the gym. So I was athletically fit. Ooh, that sun is beaming, and I did not bring my sunglasses. Yeah. So, what's going on? This is chaotic. Anyway. So I was very athletic. And then one day, I don't know how this came up in conversation, but basically we were talking about, I guess, muscles. And then I just randomly ended up telling the boys that I had muscles. And then one boy was like, oh yeah, show me. So I just flexed my arm. This moment went from me flexing my arms to me feeling like a zoo animal, because this boy looked at me and was astounded that I had a bicep. And then he was like, oh my gosh, yo, you're fit. and then he goes the extra mile to go, guys, look, all the boys started to come. All the boys in that class came up to me because he was like, yo, look at her arms, she's mad muscular, and I was just there I am so uncomfortable, please someone get me out of the situation. We're in math class, mind you. I think this was I was done with my work, so I wasn't disrupting the class, but we were just we had nothing to do, so we were just talking. And then all the boys came up to me and they were like, yo, my arms ain't even buff like that, damn, you got the muscles. And I was just get me out of here, I am uncomfortable. They weren't harassing me, they weren't making fun of me, they were just damn, she they were just like so shocked that like because basically they were shocked because I had more muscle than all of them. I was more fit than all of them, like genuinely. That's why they were so shocked, because they were like, damn, like you got some muscle. Because I was going to the gym and I was in track. So it was like, because I was in track, I was fit. So that's why they were so shocked. And I just thought it was really funny. But yeah, so that happened in 7th grade. Then in 8th grade, I had an interaction with the same boy twice. And it was awkward, both times extremely. I feel bad for, like, looking back at it, I feel bad. And I'm just like, I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. But like at the same time, it was just awkward for both of us in the situation essentially. So what happened was, in 8th grade, in math class, the same math class, mind you, because I had the same math teacher twice, but like obviously 7th and 8th grade, she taught differently. But I had the same math teacher twice, and I loved her. She was a gem. Loved her. Anyway, same math class, different year. I was in class and I'm getting my coat. Like we had our coats in her closet. So I was getting out to get my coat because it was the end of the day. We were just waiting to be dismissed. So the boy, him and his friend come up to me, right? I'm getting my coat. And then the boy, we were friends. Like whenever we were in math class, we sat on the same table. I think I was the only girl at the table at this time. Like, I think this was one of those tables where it was like, I was the only girl there, but I was comfortable. Like, this was, because in middle school, I was still comfortable with talking to boys. And then once I went to high school, the comfortability flew out the window. Like, when I mean flew out the window, it flew out the window, and anxiety decided to give me a jump scare 24/7. So that was fun. But I was able to talk to everyone. I was friends with everyone. We were all friends, and it was cool. So this boy was one of the guys who was sitting at my table, and we were friends. So basically, you can get I think you get the essential gist of where this is going. So basically, long story short, he basically asks me, like he basically tells me, he confronts me that he has feelings for me. And I was just like, at first, I think it's a joke. I'm like, oh, ha, ha, he, funny joke. You're joking. And then he looks at me, and then his friend was like not that far behind to give him, emotional support. His friend looks at me, and he goes, like, and I'm like, oh, you're being serious? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh. So I was just like, I am uncomfortable. I feel really bad because I don't like this boy at all. And I don't know if I was liking someone else already or like, I don't know. But case in point, I did not like him. He was not a person that I liked. And I felt bad because two of his friends I dated. I did it to his friends. And for him to see me like them and not him, I'm pretty sure he felt, I don't know if he felt whatever. But yeah, so I was basically just like, he told me he liked me, and I was like, I gotta go. I just got my coat and sat back down. I didn't do anything else. Like, I literally just was like, I gotta go. And I sat back down in my seat, and I didn't do anything about it. And that was it. That time. Then we're at prom. So we're at prom. I'm wearing my dress. We're having fun. We're dancing. We're chilling. Tell me why this boy, the same boy that I basically was just like, I guess he wanted to ask me to prom, but then he never did. So he decided to take the opportunity to ask me to prom, to be his date for prom at prom. And he does it by, I'm dancing. I'm with my friends. We're dancing. And I see him. Like, let's say, like, we're dancing. Like, my friends are all in a circle, kind of, sort of. We're on the middle of the dance floor, all having fun. And basically, he's like, I'm at one end and he's at the other end. So like, if he's like coming this way, I can see him coming. So what I'm doing is I see him coming towards me, and I kind of get the gist that he's gonna ask me a question again, because another boy that I despise, I did not like this boy. Like, the amount of times I genuinely want to fist fight this boy is ridiculous. Like, I'm telling you, every time when there was an annoying boy in my class, I wanted to fight them because they were just obnoxiously annoying. Like, I'm talking obnoxiously annoying, like feral. Anyway, so I basically, like, I saw him coming, and the guy that I despised right behind him, because they were also friends, so I'm guessing he was being another person to, like, help support him. So I already knew the situation. I was like, oh no, he's gonna ask me a question. I'm uncomfortable. So as he's getting closer to me on the dance floor, I'm like going away, and then he keeps trying to come to me. So like, Imagine this. Like, you're watching a movie scene and you see POV, you see a girl dancing and the boy that she just rejected is trying to ask her for a second chance and she's just like, no. So you see them dancing, like she's dancing away from him. You could tell that she's dancing away from him, and then he doesn't get the hint that she's dancing away from him, so then he just keeps dancing closer to him. This went on for like a minute, and I just eventually stopped because I was like, okay, clearly he's not going to stop because he didn't get the hint that I was trying to ignore him politely. Because maybe he's like, oh, maybe she doesn't see me. But I'm looking at him, dancing away, looking back to see if he's still there. I'm like, boy, I don't know. I was like, is that not obvious? But whatever. So this is the life that I'm having to deal with. And so we get there. I stop. He asks me, oh, I was wondering. No, I don't know if he even asked me. I think he had to have his friend ask me. I think he was too scared. Yeah, because I remember the boy coming up to me and he was like, oh yeah, he wants to know like if you could be his prom date. And I was like, but we're already here. And then he goes, yeah, but he wanted, like, he was too scared to ask before, but now he wants to know if you like would be like his prom date now. And I was like, no. I just walked away. I just walked away. And it wasn't because I was trying to be like, ew, no. I was just like, no. And I just laughed because I just felt so awkward. Because I'm like, I already rejected him once, and then for me to reject him again, I felt bad. But it was just like, I'm just not interested. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, no. And then he ended up like winning, like, I think prom prince or something, like Duchess or something. He won something with my friend. But I was just like, I did not want to be his date at all. It was I felt bad. Now, there's a time before where, I'm gonna turn the heat off because I'm warm right now. I also am it got really quiet. Also, it got cold here a little bit. I'm at Dunkin', but I kind of want to just keep filming. I'm in the parking lot, but I think we'll just keep filming. And get the coffee later, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so next story. Basically, in 7th grade, I think this was 7th grade. So before the boy that I rejected twice, basically, in 7th grade, there was this kid, another kid that I despised. Like, I truly did not like. A lot of boys in my school, I did not like them because they were just so obnoxiously annoying. Like, they were obnoxious. And I get it, girls can be obnoxious too, but I was just like, yo, I can't live like, y'all cannot be like this for the rest of your lives. Y'all cannot be this obnoxious your entire, like this is ridiculous. So I was just like, there was some boys that I was friends with, I was cool with, and then like, they're obnoxious in a funny way, and there was just some obnoxious people that just had pride, and I'm like, I want to punch you in the throat. You're annoying. So this is one of the boys that, like, he was annoying, but he was tolerable. So this boy, I felt really bad because this boy, basically, apparently we knew each other before because I was in an after-school program, and I think his mom was like one of the teachers for the program that like I was like one of her, like, I guess, students. And so then he would come to the program and then like just hang out with us. So I just didn't like him. I just found him annoying. So 2 of my friends had a crush on him. Like, they both like had a crush on him separately, and I think they both found out at the same time they had crushes on him. And this boy, which is like, I just didn't get it. I was like, what is the phrase? Love is in the eyes of the beholder. I guess like, you do you, okay. So so tell me why this boy that they're having a crush on basically essentially has a crush on me. And I was like, this can't be happening. And I felt so bad for my friends because I'm like, damn, y'all over here both crushing on the same boy, to have him not like neither one of y'all and have him like me. I was like, I felt so bad. Oh, I just spit. I felt so bad for my friends. But then when I found out, because first he was just like, I think he was just being annoying because that was his way of showing me that he liked me. I'm guessing that was the wave, because I was just like, because sometimes, no, it never worked. Anytime when the boy was annoying to me, I did not take it as them flirting with me. I took it as them being obnoxious and I want to punch him in the throat. So I was just like, that whole annoying thing did not work for me. It never worked. It never did. Anyway, so this boy, I'm guessing he was being annoying because he didn't know what else to do to flirt. And I was like, okay. So basically, first he was like, oh, we went to the same kindergarten class. And I was like, huh? We did? I don't know you. Like, I don't know who you are. And then he shows me a picture. And we were in the same kindergarten class, and I was like, I don't know who you are. Like, I truly and wholeheartedly don't remember your face at all. Like, I don't know who you are. So he had proof. So apparently we knew each other in the kindergarten. And I was like, how do you remember that? Weird. Anyway, so so he says that, and then we were just like, I think every now and then he would just like talk, and just him speaking. I was just like, oh, why are you so annoying? So then one day, oh my gosh, one day y'all seen the show Gina and George where like the girl has like a guy sing him a song, but like he like starts breakdancing or like he was dancing, whatever. Basically, that's what this boy did for me, and I was just there like, what is going on? He didn't dance. He just sung the song. I think he sung a Chris Brown song, and I don't know the song off the top of my head, but whenever I hear that song, that memory of that boy singing to me is buried in my soul, and I point to my head, whatever. That thing is buried in my mind for eternity. Like the way how that boy ruined the song for me. Like I don't listen to Chris Brown anymore because he's him. But that song, whenever I hear it, I'm like, that's the song that boy sung to me when I was like in middle school and I didn't like him. And then that's when it was confirmed, like with that song, he was singing it to me, and like you can tell that this was his romantic gesture, and I was like, oh, am I the drama? Am I the main character? And y'all just living in my world? I was baffled. Like when I tell y'all, I did not think for 1 second this boy had a crush on me. And then like basically him doing that was him showing me that he had a crush. And I think he did end up telling me, and I was just like, oh, the feeling's not mutual. Like he wasn't ugly, but it was just because I found him so annoying that like his attractiveness couldn't override it. I'm just like, I did not vibe with it. No, I didn't agree. I didn't vibe. So I just didn't. I was like, no, but like, no. So that's what happened. I just basically was like, nothing happened to me and him. He sang that song, and then I was like, oh. And the thing that makes it even worse, my friends were there when it happened. They both saw him sing the song to me. I felt so bad, but like, what am I to do? He was the one that did it he did that to me. I did nothing. I was a bystander to a hate crime. Anyway, so that happened in 7th grade. That was really an awkward, but now it's really funny because I'm like, damn, who like you see that in movies and TV shows, but then to find out that stuff can actually happen in real life because it happened to me, I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Anyway, moving on. So that happened. Then in high school, I don't think anything really happened in high school because I was just too scared to talk to any male. So no words were spoken. So in college, this is when my feral era is just really at an all-time high. Because this is when I'm like feral in the sense of fear. Like I'm just terrorized. Like it feels like men are terrorizing me when they just exist. So I would say freshman year of college, I had the entire year a crush on this one boy, and he was a junior, but he lived in my dorm. And I remember like when I first saw him, I don't know if I saw him first at a frat party or just in general, but I remember seeing him and I was like, oh my gosh, this boy is literally so like the stereotypical boys you expect to see at college that are like, oh my gosh, they're the hot ones. Yeah, he was one of them, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's like legit hot. So I had a crush on him the entire, oh my gosh, the little girl was so cute in the wagon. Anyway, there's like a guy pushing like a little girl in the wagon, and it's really cute. It's like a shopping cart wagon, but she's just like sitting in it chilling. That's so cute. Anyway, so I had a crush on the entire freshman year, and there was a point where I had an intro to sociology class, and that class was hard. But I had a project where we had to basically do something abnormal and then study how I'll basically do a social experiment. And my social experiment was to basically just like act weird on one of my shifts as like a night host. So basically I was just doing a whole bunch of different stuff and I was recording it. This was the like a few months before I started my YouTube channel. Like, yeah. And so I already had a camera and I was filming it. So I was doing a bunch of different things. Like I was like talking to like there was like a vending machine where I was sitting at. So I was like pretending like to flirt with the vending machine, and then someone came, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, like I was just flirting with the vending machine. I would like sneeze abnormally. Like if someone was coming towards me, I would like play music and then like dance, wait for them to dance and see what they would do. And mind you, I had my friends with me because I was like, there is no way I'm doing this by myself, because I would rather sit on a rock for 10 days than do that. So my friends were there. So like they were helping me out and stuff. And then the boy comes. Now, okay, before I get into that, I'm backtrack a little bit. I think the first time I ever talked to this man, no, it wasn't me speaking. It was me. It was him talking to me and me just being there like, like he would think I could not speak. Like, so I'm working a night host shift. And if you don't know what a night host shift essentially is, basically like the short definition is just like security of dorms, and like you do like hourly like shifts with hourly rounds where you like walk around the building to see who's in like the common areas to make sure everyone's okay. And if a resident needs like help from an RA, or they just need help with something real quick, either I can help them, or if they need an RA, I can like call the RA on duty and then get them to help and whatever. Sometimes if something bad happens, like something like an emergency happens, I have to call UPD. That happened to me like one time. That's a story for another day. That day, first of all, I'm gonna put it in my novel. I'm writing my debut novel. I'm gonna put that in, because that day was crazy. I had to call UPD because like homeboy was passed out in the dorm. No, outside the dorm in the winter. It was crazy. Anyway, if y'all want me to like talk about crazy like college stories, I definitely can make a podcast about that, because I definitely have a few. But yeah, so yeah, yes. So the boy, right? Yes, I was speaking about the boy. So the boy, there's people coming. I feel like I should park a different direction, because I feel like, I don't know. I'm gonna stay this way. I don't care. So I was, what? I just blanked. I was working, right? I was working, and the boy I have a crush on, he comes out his room, because we lived in the same dorm, so I did see him frequently, like whenever he was coming in and out of the dorm, or at a party or two. So he was coming out his room, and then he saw me, and then he says he just says hi. He's just being polite. And because he said hi, I saw him and I was like, oh no, it's him. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, this boy is approaching me. What am I gonna do? So I just say, hi. I kid you not. I literally managed to say the word hi. In that speed. Oh my gosh. He comes up to me and he goes, oh, what you doing? And I was watching YouTube. So I go, YouTube. Yo, those are the only 2 words I spoke to him that entire conversation. Oh my gosh, like it was, I just look at it, like if you saw that in a movie, you would have I have secondhand embarrassment just talking about it. You would have second, third, fourth degree, like embarrassment. You would be like, that will be one of the scenes where you're looking at in a movie and you're like, oh no, like you don't want to look, but you want to look. That was me. I was the moment where you was embarrassed for me. So I literally said those 2 words, and then he was like, oh, cool, that's like cool, whatever. And then he was like, kept talking. He was talking about like filling his water bottle up, and I was like, oh, I just basically, yeah, oh, okay. One worded responses, because I just did not know how to speak. Like I literally was just deer in headlights. I froze. And then he was like, okay, like I'll see you later. And then I was like, I think I just said bye. Now here's the thing. He really could have been rude and just been like, oh, she's weird, whatever. But he was really, really nice. And just like, I didn't know if he could tell that I was nervous, or he was just like, oh, she's probably just shy. So he was being really polite. He was being really nice. And I was just like, damn, he was being really nice. And I was just like, YouTube. Like, what? So then the second interaction I had with this is now when I was doing my social experience for my sociology class. And so then he comes, he's one of the people that I basically do the experiment with. And basically this was the phase where I was like sneezing really loud. So he comes and he's like, hey, to like my friends. And then I sneeze. I go, chill, like, but like a really loud sneeze. And then he just goes like, cause he's like a goofy person. So he was just like, and he just starts screaming and just running to his room. And then I thought that was the end of it. Like a minute later, he comes out his room, closes his door, and then comes and sits next to us. And I was like, hello. So then he just comes, he sits next to us, and he's like, hey, how's it going? I have the footage too of this. Like, this is when I was filming, but I filmed, like, the camera kind of started to call. I wish my camera was still recording, because this whole conversation was really funny. And I have the footage. I don't know if I want to put it up on the screen. I don't think I will, because I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to. I was at first debating making this a video, like my social experiment from freshman year college, but then I just never did it because there's a friend in there that I was friends with at the time, but I'm not friends with her anymore, and she's in the video, so I didn't want to put her in it, so whatever. Maybe I will in the future, I don't know. But I have footage of him coming up to me, like me doing me sneezing, and then him screaming and running, and then coming back out to be like, hey. And then the video caught like the first minute of the conversation. He talked to us for like, I think like 10 minutes or something. Like he talked to us for like a good amount of time. And he was very nice. He was talking about just like, we started talking, I think we were talking about like, one of my friends was talking about like her parents, and then he asked the ethnicity of her parents, and then she said like Korean and Italian, and then he was like, oh yeah, like I forgot, basically he was like, oh, he's also like half Asian, half white. And then he's like, oh, what's up with the white guys like dating Asians? And then she was like, oh, I don't know. But they were like bonding because they're both Asian and white. And then we started talking about other stuff. Then eventually he brought up his like major. He was like an engineer major. And then he also had his own YouTube channel where he did like, he built Legos. And I was just baffled. And then he had like 23K on the YouTube that he hasn't posted in a while. But like he showed us like videos of like he showed us his videos, and then of how like he would build Legos like function, like he would build Lego sets, but then because he was an engineer, he took a step further to also build things that like actually can work. Like I think he built like machines with Legos. And then he showed us one of his projects that he did for his class. Was like, I forgot what it was something, but basically he was a smart hot guy. And I was like, if there's anything that makes me more feral, it's a hot guy who's educated. Like education, I'm just like, wow, that's a green flag. If you are educated, if you're a film person, if you're a writer, if you're any creative at all, if you have tattoos, if you're mentally ill. I'm moving on. I'm not going to detail that any further. Anyway, but yeah, so he was just basically green lighting. I'm like, I didn't know this about him. And I was like, wow, this is like, he seemed like a really nice, like, basically overall, we had a good conversation with him, and then eventually he left. I think either my shift was ending or that he just went back to his room. A fun conversation. And then after that, I don't think I ever spoke to him. Like, we had a conversation ever again. But yeah, I had a crush on him that whole freshman year. And I saw him a little bit sophomore year, but I didn't like, I was in a different dorm, so I didn't see him that much anymore. And after that, that was it. So that happened. Then I remember this. This was freshman year too. Freshman year, this is my second semester. The situation with the boy that I had a crush on, that was my first semester of college. So my second semester of college, I was in a modern Europe class, and we were doing this project where we had the French Revolution, but it was like role play. So each of us had like a different role, and then basically we were playing the game, and me and my best friend were both in the same class. And we were doing this thing where I had a meeting, like my character had a meeting with someone. With my character had to have a meeting with my friend and like the characters that her group was in. I forgot what I was, but I was some like middle ground person that could be in any group, and then she was in a group, and I was like secretly meeting with them to like work out something about the revolution. Basically, this whole project was to teach us about the French Revolution. It was really fun. And this class was a nice class. Like the teacher was great. He was a great professor and everything. He was funny. He was a hard grader, but he was like fun. So anyway, so we're having this meeting. And mind you, this is funny because me and my friend we both were having issues with there was two boys in this group, and one boy literally was like trying to flirt with my friend. And mind you, she's had one or two times where boys try to flirt with her, and she was like, oh, because she has a boyfriend. The entire time she has a boyfriend. So she's like, oh no, like I have a boyfriend, let's just be friends. And then they first are like, okay, but then they'll just sometimes send a certain text, and she's like, I thought we were cool being friends. Like, what's going on? So this boy was in the group, and then his friend was also in the group because they were also in the same. They all had the same roles. So I was there. We're talking about the project. I'm minding my business, and I had my hair in like I think twists at the time. And then randomly, this boy, not the boy that was flirting with my friend, but his friend, just randomly goes, "Oh, I like your hair." To me, my hair's in like a bun, and I was like, now, the reason why I was thrown off with this compliment is because we were in the middle of a conversation. Like, talking about the project, mid conversation about how my character can, like, help their group out, and, like, I can be secret about it, blah, blah, blah. We're making negotiations. We're doing business deals. And this boy's over here like, I like your hair. I literally looked at him, and I was like, and then I'm so glad my friend was in this class and in the group with me, because me and her were like, and I was like, thanks. I was like, oh, thanks. And I'm thinking that's it, right? You know, okay, you see my hair, you comment me, fine. A minute or two later, I forgot what else he said, but he just kept talking to me, trying to flirt, I guess. And I was just there like, can we focus on the project, please? Like, please, can we focus on the project? And then after that, he didn't say anything, but it was just like the two instances of just like him just like thinking that like we were at a level where he could do that. I was just so confused. I was like, what is happening? Why? So me and my friend, we left that group and we were like, what just happened? I'm like, bro, I don't even know. Like, to be honest, I was just as baffled. And the thing was, no, we weren't talking about work. We were talking about Game of Thrones. I forgot that. We were talking, basically, there was no, like, the reason why it was so weird that he just said that was because, for two reasons. One, because we were having a conversation that had to do about, I'm yelling. We were talking about something that had nothing to do with, that didn't give him the green light to give me that compliment that he gave me. One. Two, when I tell you everyone was quiet when he said that, and everyone was like, what? I was like, like, don't make me the center of attention. I hated that. So, and then after that, like, I think sometimes I would catch him just looking at me, and I just felt so awkward after that, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I kind of get the hint that, like, he was, like, trying to flirt with me, and that maybe he has a crush on me, and I was like, oh no. So me and my friend both had guys trying to flirt with us in the same class, and I was like, this can't be happening. Also, in the same class, I had a crush on someone else in that class, and then this is when you got to be careful what you pray for, because basically I was asking God, I was like, God, give me a chance to be able to talk to this boy and be able to work with him on a project or something, and then like I can finish the system somehow. So he was like, yeah, okay. So with this French Revolution project, I basically was able to, my character and his character was a spy. And I knew that, but his other characters didn't know that. So I was basically, I was planning to have a meeting with him to basically say, oh, I have information that you might want to know, and you should tell me the information. You have information that I want to know, and you should tell me because I can blackmail you. Basically, I was going to blackmail him and expose that he was a spy. So that's what the meeting was about. So basically, that's what we were doing. And I was emailing him, and I was like, oh, we're going to have this meeting. And then I was just so nervous because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have a meeting with this boy that I think is cute and I have a crush on. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to meet him. Like, oh my God, this is my Aaron pressured. What? My Aaron pressured? My prayer answered. I try to speak at the speed of my thoughts. I got to slow down. So I finally had this meeting with him. And then once I met with him, I just got the ick. Because, first of all, he was late. He was late to the meeting. He said sorry he was late to the meeting. But maybe I just caught him on a wrong day, because he looked like he was like, I was excited for this meeting, and he was just rushing it. And I was just like, oh my gosh, we're in a rush. And then also, like, it didn't go well at all, because he was like, what is this meeting about? And I was like, oh, like, I have information. Like, I was trying my best to like, articulate what I was trying to say. And then basically, I think he gave me some information, but it really wasn't what I was wanting. And then he left. And I was like, oh, okay. And it just didn't go as planned at all. And I was like, this is kind of weird. And I think I think after that day, I didn't like him anymore. It was just like, the conversation just rubbed me the wrong way. It was just weird. Like, he was still cute, but I was just like, ugh. Like, it was weird. I probably just called him on a bad day, but whatever. And then I think after that meeting, then the thing with that guy happened when he was like, I like your hair. And I was like, okay, thanks, I guess. So yeah, so that happened. What's next? What's next? I think I did have like, I don't really think I did have like a few more crushes like my sophomore year. Nothing happened with either of those because one of them was my friend, but then nothing happened between us because he was gay. So that was fun. But it was really funny when I told him that I crushed on him. He was like, girl, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. And I'm like, why are you apologizing? You don't have to be sorry that I had a crush on you. He was like, I thought you knew. And I was like, I didn't. And I did. And then I still liked you anyway. And he was like, oh. I was like, it's okay. Like, I'm over you. And like, we're still friends now. Like, I think it was really funny when I told him that. Because it was funny because when, at the time when I had a crush on him, we were having a conversation. And basically, I like was talking, because every now and then we would just have deep conversations. And if I love one thing about the friendship is being able to have deep conversations. And the thing that kind of sucked with that was that basically he was the first guy that like I had a crush on that I was comfortable talking to. And I think it's because we knew each other in middle school. So we knew each other in middle school. And we were like friends then, but then we followed each other on social media after. And then we went to same college. And then we both had the same mutual friend. And then we were like, oh, like, hey. And then in sophomore year of college, then we had the same job. And then we rekindled our friendship. And then we got close. So then one day I was in his room and we were just talking. And I was like talking to him about how like whenever guys give me compliments, I like have panic attacks. Like legit, like I panic and I'm like in a state of like, what's going on? And he was just like, oh my gosh, I've never heard someone say that. Like that they would get panicked when someone gives them a compliment. I was like, yeah, I don't know what that's about, but like that happens a lot. So we're having this conversation, right? And then at the time, he does not know that I still have a crush on him. So we're talking. And then he goes, oh, now mind you, he's an attractive man. And multiple girls have announced their attraction, like, oh my gosh, you're so hot, this and that, blah, blah. But obviously they all know he's gay, so they know it can't go any further. But he, like, basically, if he was, like, either bi or straight, he would have a girlfriend by the time, I'm pretty sure he would have had a girlfriend by the time he went to college. So, when he, basically, we have a conversation, and he essentially goes, oh, like, if I was, like, into girls, like, I would date you. And I was just like, I wish you didn't say that to me. I was like, I wish you did not speak those words out your mouth. Like, I am flattered that, like, you basically are saying that, like, I would be your type. Because he's like, because, like, we're friends and, like, we have, like, a lot of deep conversations. And, like, you know, basically he's showing me that, like, I would be of interest. And I'm just like, I am happy and sad you told me that. Because I'm happy because it shows, like you know, I was just like, okay, that's a comment whenever someone says that to you, like, you know. But I was just like, I wish... You know how Billie Eilish has that song, I Wish You Were Gay? For me, I was like, no, I wish you weren't. And I'm like, I know that's selfish, but like, I wish you weren't. Just for me. So basically, he told me that, and I was just like, see, now I just told you that I get panicked when boys give me compliments, and then you give me a compliment. And I'm like, dude. But like, he didn't know that's what he was doing. And I had to hold in the panic. And I was just like, so yeah, it was really funny. And then I told him, and then he was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I'm like, really? You really had no idea? Come on. Be freaking real. Maybe I was good at hiding. I don't know. But yeah, that was really funny. I think it's hilarious now. And like me and him, like we still like, last time I saw him was on my birthday. Yeah, he was there. I invited him. He came. It was fun. But yeah. What else? I did this other time. I had, now see the thing is whenever I have a crush on a guy, I will not speak it. I will not say it to a single soul. It will be between me, God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. Like, it would be the four of us. Only us four would know that I have a crush on a boy. So, because I would be embarrassed that, like, if I like a boy and then I tell my friends I like a boy, they'll think he's ugly. So I'm like, I would rather not risk that. So, there was a time that I had a crush on this boy that was, like, a friend of my, well, he was friends with one of my friends. And I didn't tell my friend. Like, I didn't tell her that, like, I had a crush on him. And I told one of my other friends. I told the guy that I had a crush on before, and then I told my other friend. And then, no, I told two of my friends, and then I told later in life, I told my college roommate from senior year, and she was like, and she knew him. And then she was, when I told her, oh yeah, I had a crush on this guy. And she was like, interesting. Basically, she was essentially just being like, oh, okay, like, I didn't know you'd be into boys like that, but okay. And I was just like, yeah, I did. Because basically, he was one of those guys that was just like, from like the outside looking in, he's like a weirdo kind of sort of. But like when you know him, if you're his friend, you can see that he's a good, like he was a good person, but it was just like he would be categorized as a weirdo. And then for me to have a crush on him, because I thought he was cute. I was like, I people think that I have a specific type, and I'm like, I literally like anybody, like, like literally, I don't have a type. Like the people that I end up dating, sure, are all like one ethnicity, but that's just because those are the people that like me back, or like showed me that they like me back, or like we went further to dating. But like I didn't pinpoint only on like one ethnicity. I like all ethnicities, all. Like I could like any one. So I'm just like so whatever. So yeah, that happened, and then I think that was the last. No, going back to freshman year. Freshman year, I had a business. I was in the business class. No, this was my sophomore year. Yeah, my sophomore year, first semester, I was in the business class, and I was taking this class to see if I wanted to do, because I was going to minor in business. So I had to take this class first, and then I could declare a minor in business. So I was taking this class. It was okay. It was kind of boring, but then I would always sit in the back. So then there was this group of boys. It was two. It was two boys behind me. They were friends, and they would always sit behind me. Like that was their seats. Like I would sit to the second to last table in the back. And then half the time I would pay attention in class, but because I was bored, I would pay attention enough to where I could get the work done. And when I tell you almost every single class, I had Netflix up on my laptop. Like, you know how when you see, like, if you see TikToks of people, they'll be like the things you see on college students' laptops when they're pretending to do work, but in reality, like watching Netflix, watching a football game. Like I was one of those kids, because it was just, the class was boring. Like if I wanted an A in business, I would have gotten an A. It was an easy A. I just didn't care. So I got a B plus, I think, because I didn't go all out into it because I had no interest in it. So I just got a grade just to get a grade, and I was like, I'm going to watch Netflix because I'm bored. So that's because I was watching Netflix in, and then I would like hear these guys behind me. They would like talk every now and then. And then I remember one time, I had my high school hoodie on, and my high school hoodie has my name, and like it has the first letter of my last name, and then no, the first letter of my first name, and then like a dot, and then like my last name. So it would be A.Cash. So it had it on the back of my hoodie, and I put my hood up so that way, because it was kind of cold, I guess, I don't know. But I had my hoodie on that day. And then I don't know if like the guy, I don't know what he was gonna call me for, but basically the fact that he was trying to say my name. No, I think he said my name, or he said A Cash, and I was just like, this cannot be happening. The one day I wear this high school sweater, someone's trying to call me by my last name, and I was just there like, I did not turn around. I was just there because I was spooked, and I was like, oh no, not someone could turn. So he goes, A Cash, like 3 times. Not a single time did I turn around. And then his friend was like, dude, I don't think she's going to answer you. He tried one more time. I did not turn around. I was just there like, And he probably thought I was being rude. Like, I don't want to answer you. But I was just there like, no, I don't want to speak. And here's the thing. I don't know what he was going to say. I don't know. Because I heard chatter, and then I heard him say my name. And I was like, oh, no. So I panicked, and I just didn't turn around. Another time I did that was for freshman year, my second semester, and my friend was with me. And and the thing that's funny is that she got to witness a lot of my awkward interactions and just how awkward I get in social situations, like how I become a little deer in headlights. So I'm like, I get the occasional, if I'm online, I'm buying food, and then if I see people behind me, I feel like I had to be Speed Racer, Fast and Furious, to get my stuff in my bag to leave, so that way people won't be waiting, because I'm like, oh my gosh, people are waiting in line. I have to hurry get myself so that way they won't be waiting and they won't be staring at me, so I'll be leaving. Like, my mind is racing 3,000 miles a minute because I'm panicked that I have like 2 things and I'm like trying to put them in my bag. Like I could organize it, but then if I see people behind me, like let's say the line's empty, no one's behind me. The minute I get finished, like the person finished ranking up my stuff, one person goes behind me. They're not even in a rush. They just come. They're just existing in the world, and they put their stuff down. And I am like panic mode, panic, 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 panic. Someone's behind you. Someone's behind you. You gotta get your stuff. Someone's behind you. And I just fully panic. And one time, my friend was there, and I was like, "Help me!" Like I was so scared. I was like, "Help me!" And then she helped me get my stuff. So this is the state that I'm in whenever I'm in social interactions. But this time, I think this was the first time she saw me freak out when it was a boy. So we're going to like I think it's called the Nestor. On New Post, there's a thing called Nestor, and it's like the place where you can get like, it's like a mini supermarket, and there's another place called like in Ridgeview where you have like, they have another like supermarket there. But basically, this was like a mini supermarket where you could get food, but you can also get like cereal, snacks, whatever you want, like drinks and stuff. So me and her, I think we just came out of class and we're going to get food. So we're going to get food, and then I'm looking at the drinks. I'm going to try and pick out what I want to drink. And I say, oh, I don't know what I want to drink. And then she's giving me suggestions, and then I just hear in the background a guy like say, oh, I think this drink would be good. Like I'm guessing he heard a conversation, and he was just chiming in, being very nice, very friendly. And he's just chiming in, giving his opinion about a drink. And of course, because I heard a male speak behind me, I froze. And when I tell you, I did not move a muscle until he left. I did not move. I literally froze. Like you would have thought that someone put a spell on me and froze me. It's like, it's giving when Hermione in Harry Potter, in the first movie Harry Potter, when they're going to like sneak out the end, and Neville's like, no, you guys can't leave. You're gonna cause us those points. I'll fight you. And then Hermione's like, I'm sorry. And then she does the spell and he freezes in place. That was me. Except it's like I was playing freeze tag with the boy that I didn't know existed until 2 seconds ago. And I was like, I literally stood in place. And then my friend, it was like an awkward 3 seconds of silence. And she goes, oh, okay, yeah, we'll get that suggestion. Thanks. And then I think eventually he left. And then she goes up to me and she was like, why did you do that? And I was like, I don't know. I panicked. And that was the first of many times that she saw me fully like just, what the heck? Because she was just so flabbergasted that happened. Actually, no, correction. That's not the first time that happened. The first time it happened with a boy. That was the first time I froze in place when I got panicked, though. Because there was another time that she brought a friend over, and she was introducing me to her other best friend. And I was doing my hair. Now, if you're a black woman, you know doing your hair as a black woman is a very intimate, personal thing. So when people that you don't know is coming in mid you doing your hair, you are in a vulnerable state. And I'm like, you can't be just having strangers come up to me in a vulnerable state of mind like this. Like, you're my roommate, that's one thing, but this is a stranger to me. I know you know her and that's your bestie, but like, I don't know this person. So when she brought her friend over, like, because they were gonna go out that day, and so she's like, oh, come be my roommates. And I think she already told her that like I get weird and I'm awkward. So basically, she goes and her friend says hi, and I was doing my hair, and then I either turned around and just turned back around, or I just didn't do anything. I think I turned around and I was like, and I just turned back around because I'm like, there's a stranger here. I'm in danger. And I just froze. And then I turned around and I didn't say hi. And then it was funny. But like I met her like again a few other times, and she's cool. Like we're friends. And I just thought it was really funny. That was my first interaction with her, was me just being like, ooh. But yeah, I think that was the last interaction. I think after that, oh no, there was another time where, this is when I was starting to get better. Like I was still freaking out with boys, but I was getting better. So in junior year of college, there was a class I was in, my digital storytelling class, and there were 3 boys in that class that people found annoying. One I had a crush on. I didn't find him annoying because I understood why people found him annoying. It's because he just talked a lot. But for me personally, I can understand that he was talking a lot because he was just passionate about film. Whereas there's this other guy that was just obnoxious, and then this other guy that was just, I wanted to punch him in the face. So, the guy that I had a crush on, he was friends with the guy that I was annoyed by, and so basically I saw him. I was like, oh, he's cute, and then he was very passionate about film, and cute guy into film, 2 green flags. So I managed to be able to have some conversations with him, but I was having a very hard problem. I have a terrible problem with eye contact when it comes to people, because prime example, if I'm like walking down the street, I will not look at anybody. Like, I won't turn to look around my surroundings because I'm terrified at me looking at someone, and for that split of a second, someone catch me look at them, and I have to do awkward. I'm terrified of that, so I don't look at anybody. I just look straight, and it could be like, and then sometimes people that like I might know can walk past me. I won't say anything to them, not because I don't want to, but because I'm just like, I didn't see them. But then if I saw them and I'm not friends enough with them to like, where I can be like, oh, hey, or like, I know of them, but I get too scared to say hi, I'll walk past them because I'm like, I'm too scared to say hi. And it's funny because like, sometimes my friend, she was like, oh, like, I think she sent me a picture of like some memory from like when we were in college, and she was like the times when I had to yell your name across the quad because you would pass by me and not say anything to me because I didn't look at, because that's because I didn't see her, not because like, because I'm like, at that time we were like already basically best friends, but I didn't see her, so that's why I didn't say hi, because I literally did not see her until like she would yell my name and I'm like, oh, hey. Or like if I saw her ahead, then I would say hi, but like if I didn't see her, I could just walk right past her because I don't look at people because I'm scared. But anyway, what was I talking about? What time is it? It's been an hour. It's 9:05. Okay. So much for getting this. I can still get the coffee because I'm already here. But anyway, I'm gonna finish up this last few story. So, what was I talking about? Yeah. So, with the boy, I managed to be able to. Oh my gosh, there's like cars coming and going. So I managed to be able to have a conversation with him, but I sometimes I will look at him for 2 seconds and I look away, then look back at him, then I look away. Because I had trouble just looking at him and like having like when I look at people, like when I have a conversation with someone, I'll look at you. But sometimes with certain people, I get too scared to look at them, and I was just like, so yeah, so that was happening. So, excuse me, that was you could probably hear that in the mic. I'm so sorry. Anyway, what was that guy doing? Oh, he's parking. I'm sorry, I had to wait for that guy to go because I feel like I had to remember that the car is not soundproof, so people can hear me speaking. So, after that, so the guy I was talking to, not talking to, I wish I was talking to, anyway. So we were talking, and I remember there was two instances where we were talking. We talked at one time, and there was the other time when I was editing a project with one of my classmates. We were in the same group, and we were editing a project together. And then now mind you, there were two separate times that I daydream. Almost, now I daydream like multiple times a day, but before I would daydream like a lot. So sometimes I would like daydream or fantasize about me like seeing him, and then like me having the courage to talk to him, and then we have the connection and then we click. So there were two things I daydreamed about. One was I was going to the science building to go downstairs to the film department, and then we would pass by, and then we'll talk, and then we'll like become friends. And then a second time is when I was going to meet my classmate so we could work on a project together. And I was like, oh, he'll come to the room and he'll sit like a row or two in front of us, and then he'll talk to us or whatever. Or we'll be the only ones in the room, and then he'll talk to us. So the second one happened. It actually happened. And when I tell you I was baffled, I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening. So he comes. So I'm with my friend, and we're editing this project. And then he comes in the room. And we were the only two people in the editing room at this time. And then he comes in, and I was like, oh, like this is for real. Like he for real is in the room. So now he comes in, he says hi to us because he knows we're in his class. We say hi to him, and then we keep doing our work. And then he could sit anywhere in the class, anywhere in the room. There's infinite amount of computers, and he decides to sit in the row right in front of us. And I was like, be freaking for real. Oh my gosh. So he sat in the row right in front of us. Like, and now mind you, me and my friend, like, we're by two computers, but we're like looking at one. So there's a space between the two computers that we're sitting at, and in the space between, he's like in the middle. So basically there's unknowingly a triangle between the three of us. So we're editing our project, and then me and my friend, we don't have headphones on, so we like just have to edit, and we have to have the sound. So basically he can hear our project. So he hears us pressing play. We're watching our edit, and then he goes, oh, like, can I see what you guys are doing? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, oh my gosh, now he's trying to come over and talk to us, like, and be close. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is happening. So he comes, he sees the project, He's like, oh wow, that's like really cool. Like I like when you did this and that. And we're like, oh yeah, we're just trying to get it together, blah blah everything. And then he talks about his project a little bit, and then he sat back in his seat. Then he made one or two more comments, and then that was it. So that was the end of that. And yeah, so then I'm gonna say about one more story, or should I end it? Because those are all like interactions, like romantic kind of interactions with boys, and then like kind of annoying ones, or just like funny ones. I'm gonna go into the last one because this one, this did I have any senior year? No, because senior year it was COVID, so everyone was just shunned. Um, I do know that in my junior, the same semester where I had the crush on the boy, like I said, he was friends with a boy that was very annoying. So this boy was in my class. We were in the same class. He was in my group, and I worked on 2 projects with this boy, and oh my, he was one of those boys that claimed to know what he was doing. Like he thought he knew how to edit. He was like, oh yeah, I edited like a year or two at my community college, and like I know how to edit on this software. And then we're like, okay, cool, that's cool. But he was like basically like trying to boast about it and trying to brag. And I'm like, okay, like you want a medal or something? Like we're all here to learn the same things. Like this is not a competition, babes. This is an education. Like come on. Anyway, so he's one of those people. So then we work in a project with him. The first time we worked in the project with him, homeboy did not want to do anything. Mind you, it's me, him, and like 2 other people. So the 4 of us are working together. And the first project is we're like doing an interview. So then I did an interview of the story at the time I thought my dad was dead and blah blah. So I did that story, and then I did a story for the interview project, and so I'm the person being interviewed. Mind you, now I did 2 things. I'm the person being interviewed. I also wrote the script. All the projects that I did when I worked in groups, I was like, let me write the script because this is my time to shine. So I wrote the scripts for all my projects, and then so I wrote the script, and I was the person being interviewed. So then I did 2 roles, and then my friend, the 2 people that I was also working with, they picked their roles. One person was a camera person, one person was doing the audio. So he could have had a role to hold the boom mic. And if you don't know what the boom mic is, it's just a stick that holds the microphone for people to talk. And it's a long stick that's also heavy. Like that boom mic, it's like doing an arm day at a gym. Like it can get heavy because the microphone's so heavy, and you have to balance it on the stick. You have to be steady, you have to be still, because if you move it down, then you have to cut because it's in the frame, or if you move around, it can mess with audio. It's a responsibility. So he could have done that, and I think that was his job. But every time he had the chance to be on his phone or to just sit and do nothing, he took it. And we have to keep telling him to do. It just stopped recording. Ow, my phone has 6 minutes of. Okay, I have to finish the story up. So he just kept he just was not doing work, and we were all just like, "Are you? What are you doing?" So we kept having to tell him to do work, and we were all annoyed with him. So then we did our first project together, and then we told the professor, like, this guy didn't do much, and he was just like, he kind of slacked off. Like, we did the bulk of the work, and he just sat around and did nothing. Only time he did work was when we told him to. So then he took note of that. He was like, okay, I'll make a note of it. I'll talk to him about it. And then I told my 2 friends to like go confront him about it, because I was like, confront him and tell him that he can't be doing that again. Because I went to a concert that day, so I was like, I'm not gonna be in class today, so like, go tell him, because I wanted to be there. But then I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna be there because I'm going to a concert. So then I went to my concert, and they told me that like he said okay. So they had a second project to work with him on. And then this time it was the same 4, and we had 2 other people that were going to be our actors for a script that I wrote. It was a 1-minute like drama. It was a 1-minute short film. So we do the film. We're at it's shooting day. He shows up late, probably because he couldn't find the dorm, because we were in a suite. We're in one of the girls' suites, so he probably couldn't find the dorm because he's a commuter. So we'll cut him the slack. He takes between 10-20 minutes to get there. But okay, between 5 to 10 minutes to get there. He was late, basically. He was late again. And then he comes. The same attitude where he's like not doing much. He has this one job to hold the boom mic, and he doesn't even want to do the job that he was told to do. And it was just like he just didn't show any effort to do any work. And it's like, bro, you claim to have done film in community college. This is what you did? You just sat around while your group did all the work for you? That's ridiculous. So then now the 2 girls that are working with us, they're looking at him like, bro, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you doing that? We were also having conversations, and he would just say weird stuff. Like, I don't even know, but like I remember like he said something and one of the girls called the meanest attitude towards him because he said something that was kind of out of pocket. And then they just like snapped at him and we were like, "Oh, you're on your own, buddy, because we ain't helping you. We ain't defending you because you're in the wrong in this situation." Oh no, gosh, the sun. Can I like block it with like this? Yes, I can. Okay, so yeah, so he did that, and we're like, "Yo, you're on your own, buddy." So then that happened, and then we just filmed with him, and it was terrible. So then it comes to we all decide this time we go our separate ways. We can either edit on our own or edit with a partner. So I decide to edit with a partner because one of my friends was like we both were like I kind of knew because this was a new software that we had to use for editing. It was Avid. Avid was it was annoying to I edit on Adobe Premiere ever since like high school. So that's all I knew to edit on, and I can't edit on Final Cut Pro because that's for Apple products and I don't have an Apple laptop. So my only option was Adobe Premiere. So we had to use Avid, and I was like, I don't know what Avid is, and Avid is like the dinosaur of editing software. I think it's like one of the first ones to exist. And I'm like, this dinosaur age editing software. Mind you, the professor didn't teach us how to use it because he didn't have time to. But he just kind of he was like, here, just use this software, and I'm like, bro, you gotta teach us how to use it first. Whatever, it was fine. So we were kind of struggling. So I was like, let's just work together. So because I'm like, I kind of know a little bit of editing with Adobe. He didn't know any. He didn't have any experience with editing. So I was like, okay, let's work together because he was cool and he did work. So I was like, let's work together. So then we worked on, and that was a project where the cute guy came in. He was like, oh, let me see. So we did the project, right? And then we did the project together. And in the credits, you say what people's roles were and their names. I made the professional executive decision to make sure I spelled everyone's names correct, including the annoying boy's name. I checked, I made sure I spelled everyone's name right. And his version of the edit, first of all, his edit was bad. His edit was not good. And this boy claims to know how to edit on Avid. And then his edit came out like that. It was like 30 seconds. And I was like, that was not good. That was actually kind of bad. And then because he said like he didn't know much. It was giving. I'm not gonna make that reference because I think Bryce Hall has enough hate. He's in his redemption era, but like it's kind of like when Bryce Hall was like saying, "Oh, I'm gonna box him. I'm gonna beat up Austin McBroom," and then he was like, "I never claimed to be a boxer." Like it was giving that energy where he was like he pretended he knew what he was doing, and then when it came time to show what he actually knew what to do, he knew nothing. So he was a phony. So that happened, and then in his edit, he spelled my name wrong. And y'all, he already had two strikes in my head because he wasn't working. He didn't do any work in both projects. He was a nuisance to my society. He was obnoxiously annoying in class all the time. And then that was just the final straw. So I saw him, he put Amanda Cash. Y'all, I lost. When I tell y'all I lost it, I lost it. So I was like, Amanda. And he was like, yeah. And I looked at him and I was like, my name's Ananda. Y'all, I yelled. And I didn't mean to yell, but I was just so angry at him. So he was like, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. I didn't know. And I'm like, ah. So I was just like, the whole class was just quiet. So if that cute boy ever had any ounce of attraction towards me at all, he was probably too scared to say anything after that. But yeah, I yelled at him in front of the entire class because I was mad that he spelled my name wrong. Because I'm like, I had the decency to spell your name correctly, and then you spell my name wrong. You had a bad edit, and you knew my society, and you didn't even know how to do it. I was like, you know what? I've had enough of you. I've had enough of you. My phone is gonna run out of storage, so I'm gonna have to switch to my other phone. I'm gonna have to switch phones. So give me like 2 seconds. Okay, I think we're good. All right, I had to switch because my phone ran out of storage. But yeah. Oh, that's a guy right there. Anyway, it's okay. But yeah, so he spelled my name wrong, and I was really upset. And I was like, "Yo, be freaking for real!" Like, so that was my last straw with him. And I told my professor I can't work with him anymore. Like, I can't. We can't be in the same project. So yeah. So then the last project, we ended up working. He was in a different group, and yeah, he was in a different group. And then his edit, like the final project was a music video, and then I like the video. To this day, I look back at it and I'm like, I'm proud of how I edited the video. I thought it was cool. But yeah. And then everyone when they watch my edit, like I just love seeing people's reactions to like my like artwork. So I did my edit and then we showed it in class and everyone was like, "Oh, wow, like, that's really cool." And I was like, it's just validation and reassurance that like I have the talent, that I'm gifted or whatever. But anyway, so yeah, so that was it. That was my interactions. I think I might have had more, but like No, not really. No, not that I could think of in the moment. Oh no, I did mention how I was going to talk about how there were two people that were like really violent. This is basically just for driving. I'm briefly going to talk about them. The first time, both times my mom was in the car too, so she was like, what's going on? I'm like, bro, I don't know. I'm just trying to drive and live my life. And mind you, it only happens when we're both in the car. Because when I'm driving by myself, I don't have like, yeah, I'll have annoying drivers, but they won't. The way how these men were violent, I was like, bro, this is crazy. So I'm in the car with my mom. We're driving somewhere. And I'm driving, I think we're driving to food. We're driving somewhere. And I'm in a lane where it's like a two lane. It's two lanes. And then it's one to go straight and one to make a turn. Now I was kind of in the middle because just of the way how I had to go from one angle to turn to then turn again. So basically the way how the car was shifted in the middle to basically where it was kind of blocking both lanes. But I was making a turn. So like once the green light went, I could turn and go. So then this guy is like coming behind me and he's like, yo, this is an effing two-way. Move, B. And I was just on with them like, what is going on? And then this man is just cursing me out, going off of me. So my mom had her window down. She was like, she rolled her window up. And then we were just there like, what's going on? He's like, oh, you stupid bee. Watch me go. Because he was coming towards us. And that's when she rolled her window up. She was like, I ain't trying to have this. So she rolls her window up. And she was like, oh, this is stupid bee. And then he's making the turn. Like, because I think he thought that I was going straight, but I was turning. And I thought I had my turn signal on. But apparently that's one time I didn't. So he thought I was going straight, but I was blocking the turn signal. And then I was just like, oh, okay. So I just went back. And then he ended up going the same way I went, and he was speeding. So he was just a busy, rough. He was like a words. He was just like trying to like get somewhere fast, and I was like, okay, I get it, but like you don't have to be rude about it and call me the B word and all that stuff. And he was like curse me, and I'm like, that was my first time ever getting cursed at by someone. I was like, okay, I guess. Then the second time, I was driving with my mom again. We were coming back from, I think, the nail salon or something. We were coming back from somewhere. No, I came back from dropping her off at the church or something. We were going home, and then we're driving. Now, a lot of motorcycle and bicyclists think that they are skinny twigs and can fit through any space in the world. Because why is it that they be trying to fit through the 2-inch space that's between me and another vehicle? And I'm like, bro, so this is what was happening. I was turning, and then this motorcycle guy going straight, and I was turning and going, and he was like not going fast enough to where he can just go by me. He was kind of just going like a middle speed. So like I'm going, and like he like kept going, stopping. So I'm like, bro, like make a move and go somewhere. So I just go because I'm like, you're taking forever to go, so I'm gonna just go. And he got mad. He's like, yo, what you do? So then we're just oh, like you're the one being slow. So then he goes ahead, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Then he takes like something out of his like pocket or something, and it's like a stick. And my mom was like, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. That's a red flag. We gotta go. So she's like, go this way. And then my thought process was we were going, and then we were approaching a red light. So I stopped because I'm like, this is a red light. We can't go. If we go, we'll get a ticket, and then you'll get mad at me for getting a ticket. So I was like, I'm not going, because if I go and we get a ticket, you're gonna be mad at me. But she was one telling me to go. She was like, go, because like our safety's in danger. But I was like, but what if we get a ticket? And my mom was like, what if we get a ticket and you're gonna get mad at me by getting a ticket? But she's like, go, like you're endangering our safety. So I didn't. I ended up going when it was green. But then the guy, because I was going one way, and then the guy basically took out I think it was like a police stick or something. He took out a weapon essentially, and was like kind of like slowing down his driving. So it looked like he was going to wait for us to pass and like hit our car. And I was like, babes, it really wasn't that deep. Like I'm getting it because like I almost hit him, but like the reason why I almost hit him is because he wasn't moving. Like he kept going, stopping. He was like, because basically, if I was in the wrong, my mom would have been like, why'd you do that? But we both were like, what is he doing? So like it wasn't me, it was him. So it was his fault, and then he got mad that I almost hit him when it was his fault. So then he was gonna like, it looked like he was gonna try to beat our car or like try to do some violent action. And then he went one way, we turned because I was like, I'm not going that way anymore because he looks like he's trying to hurt us. So we went another way. So it was just like, it was just weird. That was the last incident that I had with a male that was a stranger. But yeah, that's all my interactions, my weird interactions, but also scary interactions with men. And it didn't shake me up too much because I had my mom there, and she was the one, like, I was just there like, yo, this really happened. I don't know. It was weird, but yeah. So that was it. Those are all my interactions with men, with boys, and then with men. Um, and I'll to like basically to conclude this episode. Men, I am weird around men, but also men are weird and sometimes nuisance to society. So not all, but most. But yeah, so that's just my interactions and just how like I went from being a violent person, being like ready to eat for everyone, to then being a scared squirrel, to then being harassed, being yelled at by grown men that look like they have 5 kids over stuff that wasn't even my fault. So that's always fun. But yeah, so that's it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you listened all the way to the end, thank you so much because I know these episodes are really long because I talk a lot. I talk a lot. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching if you're watching. If you want to follow the podcast Instagram, it's just randomchatswana. And if you want to either leave a comment about like whatever, if you have a comment about one of my stories that I told, or if you have your own personal weird story about men or girls or whatever, your weird interactions with socially, what? Your weird interactions socially, um, or if you have any topics that you want me to talk about in the podcast, you can either DM them to the podcast Instagram, or you can leave it in the comments down below. If you want to follow my other social medias, my TikTok and Instagram is just @anothercash, and then my Twitter is joyful_cash. And yeah, my regular YouTube channels or my regular YouTube videos are also on the same channel as you're watching the podcast. And yeah, I will next week. I may or may not do the topic about art being a career. Either that or I might do something else because this one I just thought would be fun because I always remember my experiences with that I think are funny now because I look back at them and I think they're funny. If you guys want me to do an episode about my crazy college experiences, I could definitely do that, or like funny stories from college, and I could definitely do that, and also have like either one of my best friends on or like one of my college friends on the podcast to like talk about her experience as well. Um, yeah, and that is it. And that person definitely did the car and somebody filming, and it's okay because you know what, the rocking lane. Who cares? I'm gonna get. It's 9:27. I might as well just find parking and then just go upstairs to get food and drink coffee. But I want espresso. Yeah, I'm gonna just go home. I might. Yeah, I might. I guess whenever I film, depending on if this parking lot is crowded, it's getting crowded now, but it wasn't crowded before. I could find a good spot and just talk. This is kind of fun. But yeah, so I will see you guys in my next video. Sorry. Okay, I'm trying to sync it. Okay, bye.